Now, I don't like. I know it had that Winter Soldier vibes to it that makes me.
The trailer has that.
Like, makes me think it's gonna be really, really like it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost like I kind of feel like it's gonna be a weird scenario where, like, if you give them, let's say it was Winter Soldier 2, right? Like, it was essentially Winter Soldier.
Right.
You'd have just as many people going like, yeah, but like, I like this better when I saw it the first time when it was called The Winter Soldier. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just going to be one of those where they're just going to shit on it at this point now.
I'm going to say that for now until I see it, but like, I hope it's not just people hating on it because there's a black man as Captain America.
Or the fact that
if that's it, that's going to piss me off.
I think I do think that's part of it, but I think again, like, because I keep saying this a lot lately, like, a lot of the shit that we're hearing and seeing online is bots. Like, that's a lot of that.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
Like, 100% a lot of that. The articles, I mean, maybe it's not a good movie.
Maybe it's not.
Like, maybe it's not, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not. Because it's like, because part of it is, like, you know, you kind of want, you don't want to be like, well, they're just kind of hating on it because it's a Marvel movie or it's a Disney movie, you know? And that's what they've been doing lately. And it's just like, right, but I would accept that argument if the last crop of movies weren't so hit and miss.
Right. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, well, up until the first trailer, I was like, I don't know about Guardians.
Yep, that's
right?
true. You did.
Right? And then, so then it became a point where where I was like, yeah, I don't know about Eternals, but I didn't know about Guardians. Right? Or, like, even a movie like Ant-Man was making money. Wasn't, like, $1 billion, right?
Exactly.
Same with the Doctor Strange. It wasn't like billions of dollars, but it was making money.
Yep.
Right? And not every movie had to be, like, not everyone's a world champion. Not every movie makes $1 billion. But, like, at least, you know, you've got your 10 poles, and then you got your other stuff here.
Yep.
You know, and then I honestly think, like, they fucking got so cocky, and with COVID, and they thought we could just fucking do whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we could just fucking put whatever on whatever, and people will just eat it up because it's Marvel or because it's Disney, right? Because it's not like Disney's output that isn't Marvel was significantly better too. Like, what's the last Star Wars movie that made $1 billion?
Last Jedi.
Right.
Or the Rise of Skywalker or whatever the fuck
What?
it was
No,
called.
Rise of Skywalker, I think.
That made $1 billion too.
That made,
yeah.
But, like,
okay, so they made $1 billion.
You know what I mean? But nothing since then.
No.
Right?
Well, Solo crashed, and then that was it. They haven't done any Star Wars movie.
Right, but then you had the Mandalorian. Right.
Yep.
But then you had, like, one season of the Boba Fett.
Yep.
Which a lot of people were like, oh, it's hit and miss. Even the Kenobi one, even that one.
I loved Kenobi.
But that's what I mean. Like,
I'm not a huge Star Wars fan either, and
there's different quality, right?
Yeah.
Right. So because, like, up until that point, even their bad movies, like, weren't bad movies. They just weren't as going to be like Ant-Man was never going to be making $1 billion.
No.
Right.
No.
But
it made a lot more than we thought it would.
A lot more. Right. So
it's very successful.
So they just thought, oh, we could do whatever the fuck we want, and then the genius move to, like, sell movies as TV shows was another stupid one.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because, like, again, like, in retrospect, I remember really liking Foz, and now I'm like, yeah, but there was a lot of bloat in that too. Right?
Yep.
Like, there was some tasty, meaty parts, but the most part, you're just kind of like, ugh.
That's one of my least favorite Marvel shows.
One
of my least.
Moon Knight for me.
Moon Knight is my least.
But even then, there was a lot of really cool stuff in there too. But again, it's like, yeah, but it's a fucking movie you're selling me for 8 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting through 8 hours when I could, should be 2 to 3 tops.
Moon Knight could have easily been a 2-hour movie. There's
Yeah.
so much bloated shit in that.
Oh, yeah. But even like Loki, I have not watched all of season 2.
I haven't watched season 2 yet either, which is weird because I love season 1.
I thought season 1 was
It's
awesome.
fantastic.
But then I also haven't seen a single episode of the Agatha one.
That was good.
I heard, yeah.
That was good.
That's one of those I would like.
It's
I
not
wanna
as
watch it.
great as everyone said it was, but it's very good.
Yeah, but it's also just it's 8 hours
It's 8 hours.
that I don't want to necessarily.
I mean,
you know,
if you watch that, that's one less thing you can watch Daredevil yet.
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So no, that's
No,
out.
can't do that.
That's out
Can't do that at all.
because I'm almost done season 2. That one I'm kind of limping along with that one just because like obviously Born Again's around the corner, right?
It's so close.
It's so close. I did watch the entire Daredevil sequence for the Spider-Man cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I gotta say, the Spider-Man cartoon I think is one of those ones where I probably will like, because I think it's kind of cool that they're doing it. Like, I'm glad that it's not an MCU.
Yeah, it's a standalone project.
Because even when they announced it originally, I was like, oh, okay, all right, like I'm okay with that. But then I was like, whatever. And then all of a sudden they got quiet on it, and then they were like, no, it's not a part of the MCU, and we're doing this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm all in. But the Daredevil stuff was actually pretty cool, I gotta say.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like I do like that it's not that Daredevil though, so they can do different things.
Right, it's not that Daredevil. It's the same guy playing him, but
Yeah.
not that.
It's
Daredevil.
not that Daredevil. But I also kind of look at it like I think She-Hulk. I think She-Hulk's gonna be one of those ones where they're not going to count it in the MCU. I think ultimately, unless she's in the Avengers movies, in which case then I'll be like, yeah, they'll count it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like
I think we'll have to wait for Hulk's next appearance, because if that horrible scar returns again, then we'll know it's legit.
what was so bad about Scar?
He looked ridiculous.
Right.
He looked like a green monk.
Right.
I said the beast that he should be.
Right. But we're also talking about a different Hulk, though.
Doesn't matter.
No? Wouldn't it matter though? Because
Actually, you know what?
No.
That
Stop.
okay.
Stop.
Wait,
Let me.
Okay.
Let me.
You.
Let me. The reason why I'm saying this is it's a different Hulk.
It is a different
Because
Hulk.
we had World Breaker Hulk,
Yep.
Ray Scar.
Right.
We didn't have New Age,
Smart Hulk.
smart / hippie Hulk, which I mean, yeah, Norton's character was already doing meditation, so it's not out of the realm, and that is the same character until they say otherwise,
It is.
right?
Like Liv Tyler's coming back now.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. So it's just like, oh, cool. So you guys brought everything back from Incredible Hulk, except Edward Norton.
I'm okay with that.
Mark Ruffalo sucks.
I don't think so.
I think he's a horrible Hulk.
Really?
Yeah, never liked him.
Hmm.
Never liked him.
Even though his appearance is way more comic accurate?
I don't think it is.
It is, but also, to be fair, Norton's is also comic accurate because
It depends on the artist.
Exactly.
Depends on the artist.
Like I look at
So who are you looking at? Like which artist do you see with Ruffalo?
with Ruffalo, I see like it kind of reminds me of like Todd McFarlane's version because it's a bit more thicker browed.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a bit more stockier, like more almost kind of like who's another one? Well, even like the original artist. I can't remember his name, but like the original artist. Because that's not Jack Kirby, is it?
It was Kirby.
It was Kirby?
Pretty positive it was Kirby.
I think you might be right.
I think
But
Kirby
like
did
that old school style, he looked like that old school style. Or even like the original cartoon. Like he kind of looked like that version of that character.
Right.
But when I look at Norton, I see Dale Keown's Thor. Or Hulk. That's who I see.
Okay. I see Lil Keown, but as a fan of the Bruce Jones run,
okay,
it's very John Romita Jr., Mike Diodato.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's more Diodato
in both the Hulk design and the way Bruce Banner looks.
Yeah, I have to read that Bruce Jones run. I've never even read a single issue.
It's
But
pretty freaking good.
but I also I have to.
It reminds me a lot of the Al Ewing run for myself, where it starts so strong and then kind of limps towards the finish.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So far, Philip Kennedy Johnson is killing it.
That's the one. Like that was just
Killing it.
That's the one.
Like there's no limping so far. It's fucking crazy.
Because I read the first 3 issues and I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah. You go back to DC. Don't sign an exclusive.
Holy
I want
shit.
you on Hulk forever.
Well, he's going back. He's going back for
He's
a
going
Superman,
back. Yep.
Superman run. But that got pushed, so I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
But although to be fair, his Superman run was fucking awesome. Like,
that's what I heard.
So fucking good. I read that start to finish.
The Hulk is the first time I've read his work because I'm a huge DC guy, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, no,
like,
yeah.
you get the character.
I honestly think you'd really like his Superman run.
Yeah, I probably would.
Well, I mean, a good chunk of the run is like him on Warworld.
Yep.
Slowly losing his powers, and now he's a gladiator. So, I mean, basically got Conan the Barbarian, but with like the S shield. Like it's fucking, it's really good.
Why was he losing his powers? No sun, or?
I mean, that's the whole purpose, right?
So he was just strictly going by his fighting skills.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking cool. Plus, he had like gray and everything. Like he just looked like, and the art is consistently good too.
Well, it makes sense that he would go gray without the sun. Yeah. Stress.
Well, also
stress is finally.
Because that was supposed to be that part of the story was also supposed to be like Superman and the Authority, that Grant Morrison run.
Yeah,
because that was supposed to be bleed into this, but then they shifted things, so they let him tell the story, which was also really good, by the way. But of course,
it's Morrison.
It's Morrison on Superman and Mikel Janin on art. Like,
very underrated.
Which is crazy because
very underrated. More people should.
I don't see how he's underrated. Like, because I saw him on the Grayson run. I was like immediately just like, holy shit.
Well, that's the thing. Like, his work is incredible, but you don't hear anyone talking about him. You don't see his art.
I talk about him a lot, actually.
Yeah, but just in general, like, you don't see him on like top 10 lists or anything.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy's fucking good. Like, I didn't see his stuff until I read a little bit of Tom Jones' Batman, and he did some fill-in issues there. I was like, this is fucking good.
But that's the other part. Like, so when he did Grayson, and then he's on Batman now.
Yeah.
With Tom Taylor.
Yep.
Tom Taylor, like this overall, like I like the run. His Bruce is a little on the dumb side. Like Bruce is doing things that like
Bruce is too smart to be doing.
Yeah, like part of it is there's this might as well be like a supplement or whatever that's like de-aged him.
Okay.
But he didn't really do any he didn't test the shit out of everything. He just kind of like tested it a little bit and then took it and was like, yeah, I'm right?
Yeah.
You know, and then like he ran into another old friend from his past that had ties to his family and bangs her like almost immediately, and it's like, not that I think like Bruce is a monk and never has sex or anything, but like it was pretty quick, you know, and she may or may not be involved with whatever shady shit is part of this drug that he just ingested to make himself younger. Like, it may or may not be using the blood of children, just to put this into perspective, right? Which is also something that Batman would have found testing the shit. But, you know, like stuff like that, where you're just kind of...
That is kind of weird.
Yeah, like overall...
Batman would be on top of that.
Like, it's overall, but it's little bits where I just kind of go, okay. All right, like, I generally like Tom Taylor's work, so I'll kind of let it breathe a little bit, but yeah, that's, you know, two things where I was just kind of like, okay, I don't know.
How's Nightwing been?
It's good. Like, it's consistently good.
Well, that's good, because you were thinking you probably weren't going to like it.
it's different. Like it's not the same,
Yeah.
but like Waters is building towards.
Okay.
So like
Yeah, he's a slow burn kind of writer.
yeah, so but it does feel like it's progressing towards something,
Okay.
right? So like I'm liking it, and like Dexter Soy, like I hate that I wasn't like yeah, Dexter Soy's
Yeah.
following
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
right? Because like to be fair, like Redondo is awesome, like absolutely awesome,
Redondo is so good though.
but it's not like it almost felt like he was not as he was on the book more in the beginning. Towards the end, it was less,
It was like filler.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
the filler artist as opposed to the
Right.
guys
Right.
that should be filling in for him, right?
Yeah.
Because he's really like Dexter Soy is really good, like
Yep.
and it suits the story that Waters is telling,
Okay. Well, that's good then.
right? Like it's basically just like essentially the new bad guys are, uh, like an evil circus troupe,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
And the one of the chicks had like knew Dick Grayson from when he was younger in the circus.
Okay.
Right? So you know what I mean? So they're building towards that, so it's like it is good. It's just
Different. Different.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I'm actually
It's kind of like when we got off Hush and then we started reading,
yes, that's exactly it.
and then all of a sudden Risso was taking over from
Right.
Jim Lee.
Which, to be fair, it's a great
It was a good,
Great
It was a
story.
really good story. It was just like coming off of that,
yeah, exactly.
this epic superhero story.
Because I've reread it a couple times since, and every other time since then I was like, oh man, I remember not liking this. Like I remember being really disappointed. Aside from the art, the art was
Oh, he's a great artist.
like whoa, but like,
but Azzarello,
and also because you came off Hush's version of Killer Croc.
yes.
And then it
And
went
then-
right back into like old school Killer
Weird,
Croc, where you're
weird.
just like,
You know what?
what? And no real explanation. So I was like, no, but like, so I've read it since, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's a really good
As a
book.
standalone,
It should have been. It should have been its own miniseries.
Okay, yeah,
Or like a graphic novel.
or take place in Detective Comics,
or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
like anything, right? But yeah, no, it is really good. But it is that. It is
Okay,
definitely
yeah.
that. Like you're like I was here, and so anything that wasn't here was always going to be, right?
yeah.
But and this is my first time reading Dan Waters too, right? So it's all these learning curves,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Especially because like did I really think Mark Waid was going to take over Nightwing with Dan Morrow
Yeah.
on the art,
Perfect world.
right? Like, did I really? I mean, yeah, that would
Yeah.
have been, huh,
Yeah,
huh. But
Nightwing's not quite the caliber.
Titans is the one that I'm liking the least now.
Really,
Yeah, the
Taylor,
art.
is Taylor off of that now too?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think it's Pete Woods is doing.
Oh yeah, P. Woods. Right.
I think that's the current Titans.
Hmm.
Like it's not bad by any means.
Just average. You can read it and you're like, oh, it wasn't bad, but then it's forgettable.
Yeah, and also part of it too is like Arsenal's in the lineup again,
Okay.
and I'm not the hugest Arsenal fan, but he is clearly an Arsenal fan. I think it is. Yeah, I think it is Pete Woods. No, John Layman. Pete Woods is the artist. That's right.
Oh, John Layman.
John Layman is the writer.
Interesting.
And I'm unfamiliar with his work too.
He does a lot of indie stuff, so that's interesting.
Well, I mean, no.
And then Dan Waters does too.
I was just gonna say Waters is in the same boat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. Oh yeah, no, that's right. Chew. I read Chew. I read a good chunk of Chew. But I would never have guessed that would be right. Like,
right. Yeah.
Chew's good. Like Chew's one of those ones where I was like, I want to finish, but I'm like,
I couldn't get into Chew, but I really liked his follow up. It was a space, like almost like a Star Trek, but with like a horror vibe.
oh, interesting. Cassandra actually got me onto Chew.
Really?
She got into it. She loves it. So I started reading it.
She reads graphic novels at the library. I take it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, Yeah, so she's like more like obviously graphic novel,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
superhero shit. But
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And yeah, no, it's good. I like it. But yeah, so that's the one that dropped off the most for me.
Okay.
Um, but also, I wasn't like even when Tom Taylor was doing it, I was still just I was like, yeah, great. But it was also just like it's still Tom Taylor writing in between events, right? So it's
Okay.
again
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
with his Nightwing stuff, it got to a point where you're just spinning wheels because you have to like here's your ending,
Yeah.
but we're so far away, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, so like Nightwing is still really good. It's not my holy fuck book now, right?
Yeah.
My holy fuck books are well, obviously, World's Finest Batman and Robin. That's like, I mean, Chris Samney and Mark Waid doing Batman and Robin. Like, right. Like, are you kidding me here? You know,
Yep.
Ultimate Spider-Man is like the holy fuck book for me.
Yeah, I really got to start reading it.
It's holy fuck. Like, it's so good. It's so fucking good. Oh, they're bringing back Gwen Stacy again for the third time in like 4 years, 2 years actually.
In Amazing?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah.
Man, Marvel don't have a clue. They don't have a clue.
It's funny now. Like, now they're having a hard time getting big time writers on that book.
Why would they want it? It's so tainted now.
Well, and that's what they said. They said it's a combination of editorial,
Yep.
but it's also toxic Spider-Man fans.
Yep.
Which I could see. I could definitely see it because I'm in the Spider-Man Reddits and like I agree. The book isn't great, but well, up until the last two issues, the Doctor Doom infused version of this character was pretty cool. It's fine. Like the art, plus like the art is really good.
Yeah, the art's good.
But
I'm gonna check out the Spider-Man Juggernaut. You seen that?
No.
Spider-Man's gonna get the
yes,
Cyttorak gem or whatever.
I obviously I want to check that.
I was like, it's so
like,
stupid.
It's
but
the dumbest.
I want to check that out.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, it's like I was trying to say with you, where like I understand being beholden to these characters, but you have to understand that like it's not yours, right?
And it's hard. It's hard.
It is
when it's an ongoing.
It is, especially when
it's ongoing.
Like, when it's one of your favorite characters.
They can remember as many times as they want. It's an ongoing series.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So like, and so I was kind of thinking like I was trying to say like okay, maybe it's not for you, right? Like so, like you look at James Bond, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got Connery, you've got Dalton, you've got Lazenby, you've got Moore, you got Brosnan, and you've got Craig, right?
Yep.
They're the same character, except for Craig's. Craig's is his own version.
Yeah, it's kind of a.
I don't care what anyone says.
That's the Ultimate Universe, James Bond.
Yeah. his Bond died. It's not the same.
No.
Up until No Time to Die, I was like, it's the same Bond. You can actually, like you could put Casino Royale at the beginning. For the most part, you could play out everything else.
Yeah.
Right. Now I'm like, no. His own thing. But I look at it like, okay, but if you liked Connery and you didn't like Moore, well, it's like looking at Jim Lee Hush Batman, and then you follow up with that, and you're like, well, I don't like that version. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't watch it.
Yeah. Simple as that.
Don't read, don't buy Amazing Spider-Man. Like, that's the thing. Like, you really want to tell them to change the character? Stop buying the book.
It's that...
don't buy it to hate, read it.
It's that completionist mentality, though. That's what it is.
No, what it is that it's that I paid for this, you owe me the story I want to read.
For some,
yes, you're right.
I have read Bad Wolverine, but then I continued to buy Wolverine.
You're right. The completionist.
I have them all. I gotta keep reading.
But you don't have to read it.
No.
You can buy it to say you have the completed run. You don't have to read it.
I could.
That's my point.
The covers are nice.
Right?
Yeah.
But like, I mean, so I get the completionist aspect. Yes, I totally understand that. But yeah, you really want them to change? stop buying the book. Okay, like stop, because like it's still one of the top sellers. So if I'm an editor and you're gonna like email me and be like, or whatever, like tweet and go, oh, it's the worst fucking book ever.
Then why are we in the top 10?
But then I look at the sales and I go, oh yeah, right, you're right. I should listen to you.
Yeah.
You bought the book though, right? Every month, and they're like,
At
yeah,
the end of the day, it's Amazing Spider-Man.
yeah,
It could be as bad as you want it to be. That's our flagship title.
yeah. So, and it's also like you're just fucking making yourself way more. Not you specifically, but like if that's what you're gonna like, all you're doing is making yourself way more stressed out. Why?
We both used to be like that.
Oh yeah, I still have to
And,
wrestle. with
and it's taken many years to get to where
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you are better than I am in
But
a lot
even
of aspects.
still,
but,
I still have to wrestle with it.
yeah.
Like, I mean, I'll tell you right now, if the Superman movie that was coming out was with Michael B. Jordan, like originally they were gonna do, that's gonna be a harder sell for me.
hmm
Okay, because I'm gonna literally sit there and be like, well, why couldn't it be Cal Zod or Marvel or whatever the other ones were, right? Like you have Calvin Ellis is
Yeah.
the one I'm trying
Why
to say.
is it Clark Kent?
It doesn't have to be Clark Kent, right? Or Peter Parker is now black, right? Or not even just black, anything other than what he's always been, right?
Yeah.
That's a harder sell. Okay, that's a real hard
Yeah.
sell. You're gonna make Perry White black, okay? I don't.
Right? Yeah.
I
I mean,
you're gonna make her make him a woman, okay? I'll be a little bit like, yeah, but I'm still gonna be like, okay,
that's why Miles exists. There was no way to change Peter.
yeah. And also, you didn't need to.
No.
You know.
No.
But yes, I am. You are getting better though. I will say you are getting better.
I am getting better.
You are getting better. There's like I haven't had to talk
With
you
everything. With
off,
everything.
I haven't had to talk you off the ledge as much.
Yeah.
You know.
Now when like a game is pissing me off,
Yeah.
I don't just sit there and stew and slam my controller around.
Yeah.
I'm just like, nope.
Yeah. You know what? I'll just
Today's not the day.
I'll take a break.
Yep.
You know, I don't need to, because like the whole point of all this stuff is to not be stressed. It's
Right.
to forget about the shit that
Exactly.
fucking stresses you out.
Until I go back to the game 3 weeks later, and I was like, why the fuck would I save here?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, okay, it's funny that you say that. So, because like Borderlands has been fucking weird, right? Like I haven't been able to play it recently.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Because
So I fired up
crashing.
Soul Reaver, right? And beat the first boss.
Yep.
I forgot that there's no auto saves,
Oh, because it's an old game.
right?
You gotta find checkpoints.
No, you save, like you can save any time.
Okay.
But I forgot to save
but
after I beat the boss. So I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
lost
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever, and I was like, you know what, it's
It's like,
fucking
you
late
guys could have
anyway.
added some new features to the game.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's funny that they give you a map.
And the levels are this big.
They give you a map, but the map is terrible. Like it's a fucking
Yeah.
shitty map, and I was just like, okay, and I also forgot like how bad the fighting controls are. Like the fighting controls are so brutal. It's literally just one button pressing.
Just smashing it.
You lock on, one button press, and just tick tick tick, and then you like. It is still cool to fucking sneak up behind them and stealth kill them.
Yeah.
That's still fucking cool. But yeah, so like I have to beat that boss again. He's not hard, but it's still just like, you know what I mean? Like you're like,
That's a piss off.
like I just,
That's a piss off, man.
I swear to God, like when I fired it up, I went, oh, I have to fight him again, and I went, no,
Not today.
that's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted. But like, still, the puzzle aspects are really cool. Like the box stuff.
Yep.
You know, like the exploration is really cool. I'm glad I bought it. Like I'm really glad that I got it, especially because like I feel like it's the kind of thing that you can kind of push. So like they go, hey, that did really well. Let's do Legacy of Kain.
Yeah.
Right. Like let's fucking do
Let's
that.
get them going.
You know, but I think with Legacy of Kain, I think that's where they should do like a remake. I think they should definitely do a remake. I still think they should do top down, like they did in the first one.
Yep.
But I mean, fucking imagine like Tears of the Kingdom, or like whatever Breath of the Wild style action RPG.
I feel like they're gonna do with Blood Omen 1 and 2. They'll do something similar that they did with this.
I think so too.
And then they got Defiance, and I think Defiance they could probably do a full remake on because that was a newer PS2 game.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, to be fair, I think Legacy of Kain probably would benefit from a full-on remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a top-down action RPG, like it's the Zelda style that thing. So why not just make it a full-on like 3D action RPG?
True.
Just like Zelda, or a lot of because like action RPGs are an easier sell for Western audiences.
Yep.
Because it's faster. There's no turn-based bullshit, right?
Exactly.
Anyway, what were you talking about? We were talking about comic books.
We were on comic
That's
books.
Right. And then we dovetailed to that. But anyway.
And then we'll dovetail into The Hunter.
Yeah, KRAVEN. So, unless you have anything else you want to talk about comics.
No.
No,
I don't
okay,
think so.
Good. So KRAVEN was a movie.
That's just. Oh, is that all you're doing? You didn't like it as much as I did then.
It was a movie. All jokes aside, actually, it was better than I thought it was going to be.
I enjoyed it. I had good fun with it.
Like, I'll do this real quick. Directed by J.C. Chandor, which I didn't see anything that they did.
Okay.
Budget $130 million.
Ooh.
It made 62.
Oh, wow.
Made 62.
That's painful.
Okay, so for me personally, I actually liked quite a bit of the stuff that they did in this movie.
Mm.
I really was surprised at how much I liked Rhino.
Yeah, I liked Rhino.
Especially because like I didn't know that character, like I didn't place that was Rhino at first.
Okay, yeah.
Even though I know Rhino's name and stuff like that, it didn't really click with me. And then later when he was reintroduced, and they actually called him Rhino, and he had the backpack and whatever, and then hinted at some of the stuff, then I was like, oh, that's actually really cool. That's a very cool take on a character who was essentially just a dumb brute.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was really surprising. It was really surprising. But I didn't like how they made a point of saying the reason why I don't do this all the time is because it's incredibly painful. But then in the final fight scene, you get no indication at all that it's painful.
Right.
Like, he was like, oh, ow, ooh, oof, and then he was Rhino. And then it was...
And he was Rhino.
So it was like...
So is it just a transformation that's painful?
Yeah, and if that's the case, I don't know, stop being a little bitch, because if the trade-off is this...
Yeah.
And visually, he looked cool.
Visually, he looked cool. He wasn't humongous, and I thought that was perfect.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be humongous.
Yeah, like, I really liked that, because, like, he's always been, I think in the comic books, he's been under 7 feet.
Yeah, he's not a giant.
You know,
he's not Hulk size.
He's just a big dude.
Yeah.
And then of course it's the suit, right?
Right.
I saw one clip, like one snapshot of him in the Rhino, and like as sort of like, oh, this is what he looks like. It looks like shit or whatever. And I was like, no, it actually, like the picture looked like shit, but in the movie, it looked really good.
Yeah, it looked really good.
So I was surprised by that. I liked that. I liked that Dimitri was his half brother.
Yep.
I liked that because that's how it was in the comic books.
Yep.
You know, and I like when he did the mimicry of the voices and stuff. I was like, holy shit, this is a nice little touch here, like that. And then the one part that really perked up was so Rhino's explaining, like, well, you know, everyone said I was fucking weak, and I was. Then I found this interesting doctor in New York, Miles Warren, and I went, oh shit, that's cool. That's so fucking cool.
That was cool. They did a really good job tying things together.
That was fucking right cool.
Yeah.
And then later,
and then
when
end.
he goes, when he says it too, he's like, yeah, no, I met up with a doctor in New York. I went, oh. And then he shape changed, and I went, oh shit. Well, first when he does...
Oh, right, yeah, he does the thing first.
He does KRAVEN, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then when he did the actual KRAVEN, like the chameleon face, I was like, Oh, ooh,
I know, and I
ooh.
was like, oh man, I wish we were getting a sequel to
Right?
this.
I hated the hallucination scene with the spiders.
Yeah,
I was like,
they had to get
it's
some
like,
spiders in there.
fuck right off.
We have to put spiders in here.
Especially because like it's clear in this movie, it's clear that this has no ties to any other. This isn't in the same universe as Venom or Morbius because he literally says like, "There's no one else like me like this in the world." At this point, we know about Venom.
Yes, yeah.
You may not necessarily know about Morbius or Vulture, I guess, because he's still technically there.
Yeah.
But you know about Venom at this stage.
Right.
Right? So that's not part of that continuity, but I thought Aaron Taylor Johnson
Yeah.
was good, but the writing wasn't as good.
Okay.
Right? Like there were certain times where he would say something and they would say it with the joke cadence.
Yes.
And I remember just being like, yeah, but like it's not funny. Like he was just like I think one of it was like she said something like the setup and the punchline was, "Well, I'm a hunter, but I hunt men." And it was kind of like she kind of was like, "Yeah, okay, I got it." And he's like, "And then I kill him." And you're supposed to be like, "Ha ha ha."
Yeah.
And I was just like, there were certain lines that he would say that I was like, ugh, like this is not cool. Even though he was really good in it,
Yeah, he
right?
looked good.
Like
When he rocks the final costume.
fuck, man, I was like,
Yeah.
are you fucking kidding
I
me?
mean,
But like, so it was a tough one because like Craven, they they play him up as like a a good guy in this movie. Yes, he kills people, although the fight scenes were awesome.
fight scenes are awesome.
The
There's
special
no
effects
denying
were
it.
great.
And the
The
hard R rating.
the brutalness of
Yeah.
it, like it was. I was like, whoa, holy shit!
It takes that bear trap the guy's head.
Woo. So,
Shit. Yeah.
like a lot of really good parts, but like even if the Sony adjacent Spider-Man universe was consistently doing well all the way through, like this would have made money. I think like because it would have been coming off of like, oh yeah, this movie was good and this movie was good, right? Like it felt to me like too little, too late at this point. It's like watching with Blue Beetle and being like, why didn't we get this? More of this.
It had that setting out to die feel to it.
Where yeah, well, and I mean, well, it had to like.
Yeah.
There was no way
before this came
movie,
out. They were like, "Yeah, we're done doing Spider-Man movies."
Yeah.
So it's like
there was no way this was like Shazam 2. Like
yeah,
this was like every movie after once they came out and said, "Oh, we're rebooting everything," right? So it's like, but also watch all the movies.
Yeah.
But none of it matters.
Right.
But watch all the movies. It's like, no, you don't get to do that. You know, I feel for them because, like, imagine if Venom hit, right?
Yep.
And then we got this movie, and then we got Morbius, and then we got Venom 2, right? Like,
yeah, how they
right?
I agree.
Like,
I agree. I think if this was earlier,
this is a stronger movie than
other
Morbius.
than Venom, this is hands down the best Sony Spider-Man movie.
No, I agree. Like, it's
Like-
Venom and it's Craven,
Like,
and then that's it.
the action is fucking awesome in this.
Really good. But even the little things, like he was crawling around or
Yeah.
climbing, like he was being very
That whole
animalistic.
like I guess castle sequence, if
Yeah.
you will. That whole sequence was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like even when he was like right close to them and stuff, and
Mhm.
like he was out of their eye line and shit, I was like, that's actually pretty cool. Anybody that goes like, you wouldn't say, it's like he's got fucking superpowers.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Like leave
Yeah.
me alone with that bullshit. But they handled a lot of the special, like the cool stuff with the powers, like even the zoom in with the when he was seeing at
Yep,
distances
yep.
and stuff like that. I like all of it was, like I said, it was way better than I thought it was going to be, and it's shitty that it's in the
That's
Blue
it.
Beetle spot. Like
That's it. Like that's I feel like watching this, I feel the same way I did with New Mutants, where it's like, I want more of that. But
Yeah,
I know I'm never gonna get it.
yeah, it's gone out to die. You
Yeah.
know, like because and again, like I said, like it's not like Morbius was this fucking amazing movie.
Mhm.
It you had to watch it with a 90s or an early 2000s superhero throwback mentality.
Yeah.
Okay? Because, like, it's not like those movies were, all of them were cinematic masterpieces, right? Like,
yeah.
for every X-Men 2 or Spider-Man 2, you had Ghost Rider.
Yep.
And, you know, not a popular opinion, but you also had Daredevil. Daredevil wasn't exactly a great movie either.
Yep.
Yeah, the director's cut is better, yes.
Yeah, it's got Coolio.
But it's not, it's still not like, oh, this, oh, man, right?
Yep.
So, you know, like, Madam Web is the one where you're just like, oh my god, that's a bad movie in general. Like, Craven, you take out all the superhero shit, right?
Mhm.
This is still just like a revenge flick.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is any sort of like special forces, former spy, former whatever, called back into action to save a family member. I've seen this movie so many times. I will rewatch this type of movie for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Oh yeah.
I've seen better versions of this movie, but I've also seen far worse versions of this movie. This is a rewatch for me.
Oh, me too.
This is
I'm definitely rewatching.
like, this isn't like, this is fucking amazing, I
Yeah.
can't wait to rewatch it, but this
Yeah.
is a movie where I'll go, you know what, yeah, I'll watch Craven again.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know, like, if Michelle says, you know what, I kind of want to watch Craven, I'll be like, yeah, I'll watch that again.
Mhm.
If suddenly she said, I want to watch Madam Web, I'd be like, are you sure you want to do that?
I'm not
And if
that
she goes,
bad.
yes, it
Yeah, I
was.
think it
Yes,
was.
it was. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, no, it was fucking bad.
Mm.
I want to like it more because a lot of the people, like, the people in it for the most part, are good. They do what they're supposed to do, and I wanted to see more of that.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to see it better than that. Like,
I think Morbius is the worst one of them. That's my opinion.
no, for me it's
You
Madam
think Madam Web.
For Madam, but it's like, it's so fucking close.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know what it is.
Morbius, he looks awesome. Like, Jared Leto had the look. For
So
Morbius.
he looked awesome.
Yeah.
Matt Smith's character was awesome.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's it. Yeah.
Like, that's really about it.
Things-
Whereas with Madam, but like, I also, again, like, that type of movie, I've seen that movie before.
Yeah.
I've seen far worse. I shouldn't say far worse. I've seen worse. I've seen worse than that. They were lucky enough that a lot of the cool stuff was just cool enough for me to look past.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with Madam Web, there was not enough of that cool shit where I was able to go, yeah, but, you know, this was cool, this was cool, this was cool. Like, Craven's not a phenomenal movie, but there's so much cool shit in that movie that I'm like, yeah, you know what? And like I said, I never saw this take of Rhino coming, and this is a really fucking good take for Rhino. Like, I think this is probably one of my favorite takes of Rhino, which is crazy for me to say.
Oh yeah.
But, like, yeah, wow.
Much better than the giant mech from Amazing 2.
It's not even the mech, it's also just the pre-Rhino version. The Anatoly version. Like,
Yeah.
like, even that is not, you know, like, Paul Giamatti's a great actor, but that's not,
that was not it. No.
like, at all. So no, like, nothing about that version is great at all. But even like the comic book or cartoon versions, like, well, the Spectacular Spider-Man one is a good version, but he's the same thing. He's a dumb guy in a rhino.
Dumb guy, yeah.
You
That's
know?
usually his.
So
whole deal.
this was great. I thought, and he was really good. Like, but then again, like the same. He's fucking same dude from like Face Off, isn't he? He's the younger brother.
Yeah.
Right. So like when I saw him, I was like, why is he familiar? Why is he familiar? And then of course, as soon as he got his hair cut, I was like, that guy, that fucking guy.
He's been around a while. He doesn't really age.
No, but yeah. So overall,
like, Face Off is 98,
fucking great,
97.
But yeah, so whereas with Madam Web, the only reason why I wanted to see more of that was because I just wanted to see more of the spider characters. Right? Because they were good.
Mm-hmm.
They should have been, right? But I didn't want to see anything to do with that version of Madam Web.
Yep.
Or even that version of Ezekiel. Ezekiel was garbage.
Like we said in a previous episode, it was somebody's just picking weird characters to make movies out of.
But also, I think it's that like arrogance too, where they were like, well, they're making money, Well, just do a superhero movie, and
No matter what.
but the part that I still,
She,
I
she's never
still
even had
think,
her own comic book.
I still think 100% that there's no way that they were allowed to use Spider-Man characters, or there was no way they were allowed to have Spider-Man in any one of their movies, because if they were allowed to and they didn't, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I
There's
really
no
so
way.
they have the rights, but they can't use Spider-Man. It's very strange.
Uh, it can't, like, I guarantee you the contract was you can do Peter Parker Spider-Man, but you can't do our Peter Parker MCU Spider-Man.
But you could do Spider-Man without letting anyone know. Like you could have
Oh,
Spider-Man
and
just
sorry, I meant to
yeah.
say, but and it can't be live action. I guarantee you, it was you can't use that version, so he couldn't show up in Across the Spider-Verse or anything like that.
Yeah.
But also, it couldn't be live action. I guarantee you, it couldn't be live action, and that's why you got Peter Parker, several versions of Peter Parker in Across the Spider-Verse.
Right, yeah.
And, like, he's a focal point in the first one because he has to be.
Yeah.
Right? But we had two different versions of Peter Parker, 100% for sure. And then, of course, we have multiple versions,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like, and I think the reason why Marvel kind of said that blurb was try to save face.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you're pushing your own version, and you want him in your Avengers movies, and so you're saying, like, yeah, you can make your Spider-Man movies will be under Sony, and we'll get a cut of the profits, just like you'll get a cut of the profits from
Right.
Avengers, right? But essentially, the brunt of what you get for that is for you, and the brunt that we get for that is for us.
Yep.
But you can't do your own Spider-Man story. You know what I mean? Like, think about that.
There's a weird, I don't know.
But
it's like the Hulk deal they have with Universal. I don't understand it. I don't think I ever will.
Yeah, you can't do a standalone.
You can't do a standalone Hulk movie unless Universal does it.
Yeah, but they don't want to do
Hulk
it.
could be in everything.
But that's what I think that's what part of it is. That I think that's part of it, where it's just like that's where the thing, you can't do your own standalone movie because we own the rights, right? I don't know. It's just, but at this point, it's like, you mean you can't buy the rights from Paramount? Like, Disney can't just sit there and be like, okay, how much? Yeah, because really, how much is the Hulk worth to Paramount? Do they really think that they're going to be able to make $1 billion movie? Because if they can, why don't they?
And don't they lose the rights if they don't do anything for a certain amount of years? That's what happened with Blade and Ghost Rider.
You would have thought that that's how.
And Daredevil.
Because it is about the same time.
Yeah.
Because it's so 2008 was that was that the Hulk 2008?
2008, yeah.
Yeah, because wasn't it the same year as Iron Man? Because Iron Man was 2008, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's the same year.
Same year.
And they have done
the
nothing.
Rights back. Well, Ghost Rider was 2011.
Yeah, and they got the rights
back.
They
got the rights back for that. It's got to be a decade.
So,
but they also don't have the Universal's got the rights to Neymar still too.
Right, and so it's got to be a decade, right?
But, so he could be a Black Panther, but they can't make a Neymar.
We're almost like 20 years.
I know.
Removed.
It's weird.
It is weird. I have a feeling
Did you sign some kind of weird infinity deal?
I honestly have a feeling that was the deal. Like, they couldn't do their own Spider. Like, Peter couldn't. Like, Tom Holland Peter Peter couldn't show up in Venom because they wouldn't be getting any profits from that one, right?
Right.
And because Venom wouldn't be showing up in. But it's also like, but why wouldn't you want?
Why yeah.
I don't know.
Oh man.
And I think that's probably why there was the big problems. So like when, with No Way Home and stuff, because they were just like, well, what the fuck, like And I think that's also probably another reason why, like, there's been. I mean, they're starting to shoot Spider-Man 4 now. Like, they're starting this year in the summer, right? Because again, I think it's the same thing where it's just like they want, and I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, you get paid. You should get paid.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I get that you want. You have to come together to figure out how to get it all together. But like, what is it? Holland's Spider-Man in the Avengers movies is going to have his mask on almost the entire time. And probably do like a Tony Stark HUD display because he's filming other movies in between.
Right.
Right? But it's like, okay, which is I'm fine. That's
yeah,
great.
that's fine.
But it's
I
like
mean, his identity is hidden now.
exactly. So it all works. Why would he be constantly taking his mask off anyway?
Yeah.
Right. So you can see his emotion. Okay. Well, fuck. Do a Tony Stark heads up display. Shut the fuck up. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So getting back to Craven, man, it should have been either the second or third movie.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a
Like,
solid movie. I had a ton of fun with it. James enjoyed it. James hates superhero movies now. So
it was he was so good. I feel bad that like we're saying like he lost James Bond because of that movie. It's like that's not his fault.
yeah, that's not his fault.
He like he did more for that movie than he had to.
And also, that's a stupid excuse too, because Daniel Craig wasn't headlining any giant blockbusters when he got Bond.
Oh, but layer cake. And you know what my favorite part about that
The
is?
lyric.
Yeah, you know what my favorite part about that is?
Hmm.
Like I remember I watched Layer Cake. I liked Layer Cake, but I don't think it's this fucking like
No.
masterpiece of a movie.
No.
And I like even and I watched it after he was Bond. Like I watched it because like that was the movie that Broccoli was like, oh, we gotta get this guy right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so it's not like I was like, oh, you know, I watched it already a fan of him, and I was like, okay, it's good.
Yep.
Like it's good. Like I would put like Lock Stock over Layer Cake.
Mm.
I easily. And I think like Snatch is the best of those two movies. Like, Snatch is awesome. I love Snatch, but I like also like Lock Stock. But I think Lock Stock's way better than that movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, so where was I? Oh yeah. So essentially, it's just weird. It's a sad way to end.
It's sad.
But it's also they fuck themselves anyway. Like really, they just
all
did
I'm gonna hope
stupid
for
moves.
is that a future Spider-Man movie has that version of Chameleon and Craven pop up in it.
Oh,
Even if I don't get a Craven 2, if they
Yeah.
continue their story in a Spider-Man movie,
yeah. No, I agree. Well, we're definitely not getting a Craven 2, which is really disappointing.
yeah, it's not
Really
happening.
disappointing. Other than that, like for him not to get James Bond, like that just tells me he wasn't getting James Bond anyway. I think
Is
if
it for sure though? They haven't made any announcements, have they?
you know what I think it is. Honestly, I think
Yeah.
he's just got to the point where they're like he's too old because they haven't even got a script yet. They haven't even started filming yet, right? Or like anything. There's nothing. They don't have a script. They don't even have, as far as I understand, they don't even have an idea.
Mm.
And apparently, from the sounds of what I've been understanding too, is that there's still some pushback with Apple, where they're like, "Is it Apple?"
Oh, right. Apple's got the rights to MGM now,
Right. So, and they're like,
or
I think, or is it
Amazon.
Amazon? It's Amazon. Yeah.
Amazon's got the rights.
So Amazon wants to do everything, right? Like they want TV shows and they want like spin-offs for all these characters, right? And
pay all this money.
but of course, they're like, no, hold on. We don't want to slut this thing out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we want to make money too, but we also like this is what we've been doing our entire like. She's fucking like, she was raised up in this. Like her parent, like her dad was doing this, and now she's like slowly taking over. So like that's her baby.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and also, why do we have to slut out everything? Like,
I say, you know what? Take a break from the movies. Make a live action TV show, just a TV show.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're gonna do that,
like Jack Ryan style.
I think if you're gonna do that, then you should do like the 1960s version of that character.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's what I think you should do. I think you should do that 1960s version. I think it should be more book accurate, so he's got a scar on his face.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And like no tech.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like keep the tech level at like Dr. No, like Sean Connery era, that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's what I think you should do. But also I disagree. I think James Bond is a movie. I think that's a movie. It's a spectacle. That's the thing you should see in a theater. So I don't think you should do that. But I also don't think we need to see stories from like I like Felix Leiter's character. I don't need to know his backstory.
No.
I don't care. It's great to see him pop up. I don't care. Overall, I thought Craven was awesome.
Yep. No, I thought it was great too.
Not awesome, but great. Like better than I thought it was going to be. It's definitely a rewatch. it's disappointing because,
Yep.
like I said, it's Blue Beetle. It should have
It's Blue Beetle.
it should have done better.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been marketed as a don't bother.
Yeah, it's shitty that when you see a movie where you're like, this is a great start, and you know it's the finish.
Yeah, you're not getting
Because Blue Beetle was the same way.
anymore.
I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see where this goes.
Yeah, we might see him in movies, but he's not getting his own.
He's not getting a Blue Beetle too. No.
Oh, and before I forget, Super Sun. The reason why it's Super
Oh.
Sun is because Superman's movie is coming out, and they don't want anyone to look at it and go, hold on, there's two Supermans? Two Supermen? One's the dad and the other's the son? That's why it's Super Sun.
Is that confusing?
Apparently it is. Geek Pantsers, I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We are where we are, and we aren't where we aren't, and we'll see you where we see
Almost
you.
like a Popeye the Sailor Man.
Yeah,
We aren't where we are.
I know, it's tough. It's tough, eh? And, we love you. Thank you so much for the support. Take care, guys.